And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. The Urban Compass, Lowell Jackson. Today we're talking about teamwork in the sport of boxing. And I'm going to my next guest, Mr. James Gibbs. James Gibbs, welcome to the show, buddy.
What's going on, my man?
Not much, man. You know, you the man. You tell me. You know, James Gibbs, president of Big Cats Last Round Foundation, and the East Coast supervisor of the World Boxing Foundation. Congratulations.
And matchmaker.
And matchmaker.
Stuff, man.
All right, well, then tell me about some of the. You got too many titles, Gibbs. I'm calling you Big Cat for the rest of the show. All right, Big Cat.
I'm Big Cat.
All right.
Yeah, president and CEO of Big Cats Boxing and Marketing LLC.
Right.
East Coast director of the World Boxing Federation, WBF, and matchmaker. Also, East Coast director of BYB, Bring Your Best Sportswear.
Right.
I got so many things going on. I don't forget.
I told you, man, you got too many. You got more titles than Borders books.
I'm trying to tell you.
I'm trying to keep up with you. And I wrote this stuff down, man.
I'm hustling.
What you want to talk about today? Which one of them titles you want to talk about today?
Oh, we can talk about them all.
Most of them deal with boxing.
Well, first and foremost, I wanted to thank Amir Hardcore Mansour. That's my family. I mean, I want to thank him for taking time from his training camp. We don't do this. We do not break camp.
I got you.
Okay, so for him to get up early and get here to be on this show,
especially before a big fight,
and it's the biggest fight of his career, that was just admirable for him to take that time out. And I love him. Like he said, I'm not going to start crying, get emotional when I get to talking about him as he gets to talking about me.
I got you. I want to talk about the lovely lady sitting next to you, Gibbs, if you don't mind, Big Cat. Tell me about the lady sitting next to you, Miss Nicole Ross.
Nicole Ross, my friend. Nicole Ross is a urban community activist working with so many nonprofit organizations out of Philadelphia. One in particular, Hands Across Philadelphia. Not only that, she's a boxing advocate. Wherever I am, she's there. It doesn't matter she's there.
I got you.
She's so well connected in the community.
Well, we're going to bring her on. I wanted to talk to us a little bit about the community in Philadelphia. Nicole Ross, how are you today, ma'am?
Very good. Thank you so much for having me on. Like he said, I do a lot in the community, boxing community. I love to support the boxers, and they also support me and what I'm doing with the community. You ask them to come out for events, they'll come out, and it's just it's a great community to belong to. It's a lot of friendship, and everyone knows everyone, so it's a great group.
Who's your favorite boxer?
I have a lot of favorite boxers.
If you could name two.
If I could name two, I'll name ones that are on the tip of my tongue: Buster Drayton and Joe Frazier.
Buster Drayton, former middleweight champ. Joe Frazier, greatest heavyweight all time, legend, legendary. Were you at the unveiling of the statue?
Yes, I was. It was a great ceremony. A lot of. It felt like a very good Philly family, boxing family. I saw so many people I hadn't seen for a while. Some people came from far away. It was a great ceremony. Good time to see a lot of friends.
Now tell us about your organization. What are some of your organization works with other organizations like the NAACP?
Right, we work with the Pennsylvania Black Legislative Caucus as well as the NAACP. Mothers in Charge, we work with that organization. They've been very supportive of our group. Earth Day Kids. We have numerous nonprofit groups that provide services for people in the community. And what we do is we have a march that we do in West Philadelphia, and that goes from 52nd and Woodland Avenue all the way to 52nd and Jefferson. It's about 5K. We're going to turn it into a run eventually. But we bring a lot of organizations that offer services to the community, and they come out and we get everyone to walk. You know, it's about stopping the violence in our neighborhoods and getting services to the community that they might not get by making them aware of different programs. There's a lot of programs, but everything's spaced out and far apart. So providing resources and support for people in the community and finding ways for them to get in touch with some of these services that they need really bad.
How long have you how long has your organization been?
This organization, it will be almost 4 years.
4 years.
4 years. We do an essay contest, and this will be our fourth essay contest. We provide children an opportunity to express themselves with writing, and we give them about 30 students $100 cash for themselves, and we give them a gift card from our partner ShopRite of $50, and they can give that to their parents. And we have a couple other groups that give us some, they donate things to us, but it's really more about letting the children express themselves and finding out how they feel about things. So it's a great opportunity, and we give them a big ceremony. So we're working towards working with the new administration in Philadelphia. We worked with Mayor's Nutter administration. They helped us a lot, and the people at SEPTA helped us organize we had to close down the streets and, be able to have such a large event happening. So we had a lot of assistance from the previous administration, and we plan to work closely with this next administration coming in.
Well, that's great. That's great. Stop the violence, man. Our kids a lot of them are out of control, and that's why it's vital that we have organizations such as yours. I know the Big Cat Last Round Foundation is working along with trying to stop the violence as well. Put the gloves down, put the guns down.
Get it right.
Pick the gloves up.
Right.
Take it to the
no.
Let me
put
help.
the gloves.
You're gonna hurt
guns
yourself.
down.
You're gonna hurt yourself.
Gibbs, help me out here.
Big Cat's Last Round Foundation has one mission only, and that is to stop gun and youth violence. Its primary project is called the CORE Project. CORE, Community Outreach Relationships Through Education. Our slogan is bring your best all day, taking no days off. Put the guns down, pick the gloves up, and take it to the gym, not to the street. Each one reach one, each one teach one, child at a time. Come on, baby, you know how I do this.
I know that's right.
You know
baby.
how I do this. Me
Big
and
Cat
Don King
Last
got a
Round
thing.
Foundation. And how can anybody, if anybody want to participate, how do they get in touch with you?
They can go to the website www.bigcatslrf.org, or you can call me, area code 302-897-7140, or call the office at area code 302-533-5913 and leave a message.
All right, your picture is flying across the screen periodically with your contact information on it as well. They can get it there. And Nicole, how can they reach you and your organization?
Well, we do have handsacrossphiladelphia.org, as well as a Facebook page, because we're doing maintenance right now on our main site. But it's Hands Across Philadelphia on Facebook, and they can reach us there, leave us messages, find out how they can participate. And we're preparing now for the launch on MLK Day for announcing the essay contest that's going to be citywide.
Okay, great. Looking forward to being there. What's the ages? Can I submit my essay?
No, you won't be able to. It's for middle school and high school students.
Great.
We've participated in Discovery Charter School, was one of the schools. Auden Reed has been a school that's worked with us, and we've been so fortunate to have their support. It's difficult sometimes to get the information out because a lot of the counselors are not in the schools anymore due to budget and funding issues. And this is something that this year we're going to do more outreach and talk directly with the principals and other organizations that are trying to supplement the budget issues with the School District of Philadelphia.
Well, that's tough. Budget seems to be the problem for all the organizations. I got to commend you for doing what you're doing. You're right, they took the counselors out of the schools. I remember when I was going to school, there was a counselor in almost every school, and you can go there and talk, and they guide you into what it was that you're trying to do and to the right resources, and it's a lot of kids need a lot of help. So what you're doing, we commend you with
so
that.
much.
We're going to talk with you a little bit more. I want to shoot down to the gentleman sitting right next to you,
Oh, man.
Mr. John
Get
Stuard.
ready, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Stuard is a
Here
boxing
he is.
judge. He's in the New Jersey Boxing Hall of Fame of all time. He's like number 3 amongst judges with the most judging experience out there in the world. He's here to correct me if I'm wrong. Mr. John Stuard, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
I know if I had the hand clapping thing, we'd have gave you a round of applause.
I'm going to give it to him anyway.
I know
I'm going
that's
to give
right.
it up
I don't
because he
need that. I
deserves
don't
it. He
need that.
deserves it.
He does,
deserves
big
it.
time.
I'm
Man,
applauded
works so
by God
hard.
every day.
Mr. Stuard, how long have you been a judge?
Since 1978. They tell me 38 years. That's what they tell me.
Wow, and that's a licensed judge.
Licensed judge, yeah.
Of course, you had to do it a little bit more before you
Had to
became
do-
licensed.
that's right. You had to go through your training and your amateurs and all that stuff. But the licensed judge, I would say 38 years.
So if someone wanted to be a judge, before they're licensed, they had to go. How do they become a judge?
If I talked to a young person that wanted to get involved as a judge, I would tell them to go to the amateurs first and learn how to judge and take some time to take the experience and go through a year of training or so. And then you can apply for your professional license or something like that.
Wow,
That's the route I would take.
And how did you get your experience in like PAL centers or?
You know what? They had a PAL at
Boys and
23rd
Girls
and
Clubs.
Columbia
Wow.
years and years ago. And to get to Vaux Junior High, we had to walk by that PAL station because we walked to school back in them days. Didn't have these buses like the kids have today. And when you walk by that gym, you're so inspired to go in there because it was a mirror and you could see it from the street, everything that was going on in the gym. I stopped in there one day thinking I was going to be a boxer. And a boy put the gloves on me and I got hit in the nose and my eyes teared the whole time. And that's when I said, I don't think I could be a boxer. So I walked out of there and then I just started going to fights after that. And then I went to a gentleman by the name of Frank Oliver, who was the state representative. And I told him I want to be an announcer. And he said, I'm going to send you to another gentleman. And a lot of the old Philadelphia fighters know who I'm talking about because he sent me to Howard McCall, who was the boxing commissioner of the state of Pennsylvania at that time. And I tutored under Howard McCall for years. And then he said one day, we're going to move you up to the amateur ranks. And that's how I became a judge.
Wow, great story. You know, I had a similar story, although I didn't even get the gloves on. You know what I mean? Before they went upside my head, the tears started rolling down.
Yes,
But anyhow,
I know the feeling.
So when you're judging a fight, and you know you got two guys in the ring, then there's the judge, the referee, the third man in the ring, and you're on at ringside
Right.
judging the fight.
Right.
If it's not a knockout, obviously if it's a knockout, we know who won.
Right.
But if not, how do you decide who wins?
It's mainly concentration and retention. You concentrate on what's going on in that ring, and you retain it till that bell rings. And if that bell rings, you know who you think won that fight. Now, I'm not talking about the guy in the 25th row drinking a beer and going to the bathroom and telling me who won the fight. I'm talking about with me sitting down there at ringside and judging that fight. And that's the way you judge a fight, from ringside and not in the 25th row.
So do you have like a scorecard, or you check
You
off
have a
it round by
scorecard, right?
round? Or?
You have a scorecard. Each commission that you go to, different states have different scorecards, but all of them are that you mark your scores now down as the round ends. Years ago, you used to keep the scorecard, which you didn't write all the rounds down at one time, but now they collect them round by round, so that you won't be able to change it in the 5th round. Well, I think he won in the 3rd round, but they turn them in now as the round ends.
Okay, so they're getting the rules are getting a little bit.
Better, yeah, more organized. I'll put it that way.
Speaking of rules, is there a rule book or for boxing judges?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
There's certain criteria we have to follow, and we all have books, and we go to seminars daily. Each state has its own seminars, and you go periodically. Maybe I do some training in some of the seminars. As a matter of fact, we just came back from China, and we trained some Chinese officials how to become boxing officials, because China now is getting into the market very heavily, and they needed to have those officials trained. So we took a team of people over there, including my wife, and we stayed over there for a couple of weeks training their officials on how to become boxing judges and referees, timekeepers, and so on and so on and so on, everything else that the game.
Wow, because they want to learn how to do this, and experts such as yourself. Now, how many fights have you judged?
They
in all
tell
of
me
those years?
yesterday. Someone told me I did 57,197 rounds of boxing. Now, how many that comes to per round for a boxing match, I don't know.
Wow.
But I just saw that yesterday. 57,191 rounds of boxing. That's a lot of boxing.
That is a lot of boxing, and from what I read, that places you number 3 amongst the judges, right behind Harold Lederman.
No, yeah.
Harold Letterman. Harold Letterman. We used to judge fights together. Now he's doing commentating for the different networks, but his daughter is doing the boxing. She used to come to the fight with Harold when she was about knee high.
What's her first name?
Her name is Julie.
Julie.
Now she's coming up in the game. But you spoke of Marvin Hagler earlier, and I was saying that Marvin Hagler came to Philadelphia to box, one of our Philadelphia fighters, and he got beat twice in Philadelphia. A lot of people don't know that. Marvin Hagler got beat twice in Philadelphia.
Early in his career.
Early in his career, and I judged both of those fights. See, back in the day, if you had a fighter and you wanted to know if he could fight, you bring him to Philadelphia. And one or two things happened. He either lost the fight, which he probably lost, 9 times out of 10 he lost. But on the 10th time when he did win, when he left Philadelphia, he would tell his trainer and manager, I don't never want to go back there again.
Right.
That's how tough those Philadelphia fighters were back in the day.
Oh yeah, Benny Briscoe,
Oh,
Boogaloo
God.
Watts,
Yeah.
Cyclone Hart.
Boogaloo Watts beat him,
Right.
and Benny Briscoe did him. Like
That's
I said,
right.
I did both of those fights.
And then he came back and
and
won 'em.
retained one of them, yeah.
But he had to go through Philly. You're absolutely right. You had to go through Philadelphia.
If you wanted to know if
to
your
get
fighter could fight, you brought him through Philadelphia.
No,
That's where
yeah.
you brought him
To
through.
All
get to the
roads
title
led
fights.
to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They still say that though.
All roads
They
led
still
to-
say,
they still
I
say
don't
that.
want to go to Philly and fight.
Well, that's what it was back in the day.
still
They
the
didn't want to
same.
come to
It didn't
Philadelphia.
Too
change.
many lefties. them left hooks was knocking them. Philadelphia left hook.
And I was there to start of it. Believe it or not, I was there when they all started. The Benny Briscoes and the Willie the Worm Monroes, Gypsy Joe Harris, the Cyclone Hearts, the Everett brothers, the Schulers. I was there doing all those fights back in the day. Russell Peltz brought those fighters in back in those days. And I was there to do those fights, and I was fortunate to
Legendary
get to do
promoter.
those kind of fights.
Legendary.
Yeah.
A Hall
Yeah.
of Fame promoter.
Yeah,
And
right.
John, you're doing something in China. You're the president of
Yeah,
The board of directors over
right,
there?
right. We're president of IBU in China, and their organization is just starting up big. And I got in touch with Mr. Gibbs because I want one of his fighters to fight on my card over there in China. And we're having 3 shows, April, May, and June. We're doing 3 fights over there. And by being the president, I'm telling you, it's not easy. I'm telling you, you have a job on your hand, but it's not easy
I
either.
already know.
Because we have to travel back and forth quite often. I'm fortunate to have a good wife that she gets me there and gets me back, believe it or not.
Well, you need a good team.
Yeah,
you need a good team.
I
in
have
your
a good
corner.
team. I do have a good team. And I often say about that wife of mine, how did an ordinary guy like me end up with such an extraordinary woman like that? And I was lucky to do that. And believe it or not, I'm going to tell you very quickly, because I don't have as much time. I met her doing a fight in South Africa. I was doing a fight in South Africa, and this was some 20
Won the
years ago.
Rumble in the Jungle.
20 years ago.
And was that fight?
That's when I met my wife, doing
Oh,
a
my
fight in
goodness.
South Africa. And we met in the airport because the plane got delayed or something. And she told me she wanted to come to the States. I want to come to America. So that's how she got here to America. And that
Oh,
was
okay.
a while ago.
Well, your lovely wife is sitting right here in the audience.
Yeah, she's here
You
with
certainly
me.
said some good words there, buddy. I don't blame you, but they're all warranted, though. She is a lovely lady.
She stays with me all the time. Yeah,
I know that's
I'm
right.
fortunate, very fortunate.
All
But
good
it all
judges.
started years ago. Like I said, I remember putting cardboard in my shoes like everybody else. And I said one day, I'm going to go somewhere. And I've been in every country you can name. And recently I spent some time in, what's his name? It'll come to me in a minute.
Pacquiao?
Pacquiao's home, yeah.
Yeah.
I spent some time at Pacquiao's home about two or 3 months ago. My wife and I, we were in Manila.
Manila.
And we were allowed to spend time at his home with him, yeah. And that was quite an experience because being very poor and coming up in North Philadelphia and ending up in the second highest paid athlete in the world, home, was quite an experience. So
Really, it doesn't get any better than that. Now,
No, it
boxing,
don't.
so boxing has afforded you a lot of travels, a lot of
Oh,
good fortune,
you name the countries I've been in, and I've been in them all.
and met a lot of people.
And
along
met
the
a
way.
lot of people, doing a lot of fights, yes, sir.
Good for you. Good for you. What's one of your fondest memories as a judge?
I got asked that same question earlier. And I told her, I'll never forget the Spinks and Michael Spinks and Mike Tyson fight. And how we had to sit there so long waiting for Michael Spinks to come out of the dressing room because he didn't want to come out of the
He
dressing
didn't
room.
want to come out that dressing
And
room.
Commissioner Hazard had to go back and forcibly bring him out. And in the meantime, Mike Tyson had punched his fist through the wall, the drywall in the dressing room, because he's so anxious to get the fight on. But I remember that fight more than a lot of them. And I did Pacquiao, and I did Mayweather, and I did, we were doing, who's the champ over in Europe? Klitschko brothers. We were
Klitschko.
doing the Klitschko brothers in Europe before they even came here, both of them. We did both of their fights over in Europe before they even came to the States. But I have a lot of memories. So
What about some of the heavyweights here in America? Particularly, what about some of the Philadelphia, Smoking Joe Frazier?
I didn't get a chance to do those two. They were a little one step ahead of me. The one year ahead of us before I got involved.
But coming from
But I know
Philadelphia,
both of them.
coming from Philadelphia, I'm sure you're aware of the legacies of the Philadelphia fighters.
I tell people about Joe Frazier. He's not just champ of Broad and Glenwood. Joe Frazier was champ of the world.
World.
And you're not going to find another Joe Frazier.
Never will you ever find another.
Now you spoke so eloquently about the contribution that your wife has on you and your career. Tell us, what about the crowd? When you're judging a match, does the crowd have an influence on you any? Be honest, please.
I'm going to be honest. That's what commentators say. See, we listen to a lot of things that the commentators say. No, they don't have no influence on you. You tune them out. You're there to do a job. And if you can't do that job, you shouldn't be there. We get paid to do a job. We get paid handsomely sometimes to do that job. You tune all that out, and you do what you have to do. Commentators will tell you things like, oh, God, he's got the hometown advantage. Well, it's no such thing as a hometown advantage on a title fight because most of the officials come from all over. When the 3 officials or 4 officials see that night, they come from different places, not their hometown. So that's another myth that people have. Oh, it's a hometown decision. Things like that are myths. No, the crowd don't bother us. The blood don't bother us. If it do, you shouldn't be there.
And like when you're judging, like the amateurs and the pros, is it a difference along the judging lines? Have you judged like the Olympic fights?
No, I haven't done any Olympic fights, but there's a big difference between amateur and pros. And amateurs, they count the punches, and that's what they're doing, is scoring. In the pros, you score from different criteria: effective in aggressiveness, clean punching, and things like that. That's what you judge on the pros, but mainly in the amateurs, just the connecting blows,
points.
Points.
Yeah.
And does the computer play a part?
I never could understand that punch stat. I still don't. 38 years, I still don't understand the punch stat because I don't even know where they are doing that punch stat. I'm fortunate. I can count punches. Everybody can't count punches, but I'm good at counting punches, and I can count better than that stat machine how many guys got, how many punches landed and how many didn't.
How many clean punches here?
How many clean punches? Yeah, sure.
That punch that it counts. It's just about everything that you throw.
Everything you throw. Yeah, if it touches the punch that goes
The commentator says that you landed a punch and it counts it.
That's right. That's right.
Well, yeah, and that's where I was going. I'm trying to figure out, a lot of these fighters are going so fast, you can't even see half the punches. The fighters, the recipient of the punch couldn't see it coming. You know what I mean? A lot of times. And
Well, you better be able to see him if you do my job. That's why I said that guy in that 25th row drinking that beer and going to the bathroom. Don't pay no attention to him Monday morning in the barbershop when he tell you, oh, what was you looking at?
and that brings me to my next question, and I'm gonna get over to Gibbs. But you said, the guy in the top row up there, the nosebleed section, got to go to the bathroom. Well, you down there right on the, at ringside, judging a big fight, a big night, a big title fight. Sir, have you, we're all human. We're all human. You ever had to use the bathroom and during a fight?
You gotta hold it.
You can't just get up and.
I can't. No, you can't.
You never had that problem.
You've never had that problem. No, you never had that problem.
Well, sir, it's an honor to have you on. New Jersey Hall of Fame. I suppose you'll be going into the International Boxing Hall of Fame next. It's the next stop. I don't see why you're not there now.
It's all politics. Because there are 3 people in Philadelphia. It's Lynn Carter, who's a world-renowned judge. There's John Stuard. there's Rudy Battle, who's chairman of the Pennsylvania Athletic Commission, and myself, the four of us. Neither four of us are in the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame, and all of us have between 35 and 40 years. So it's politics, I think.
Political.
And that's the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame. We can't understand why the four of us are not in it, but we aren't.
Interesting to me as well, but it's not over yet. And Harold Letterman, before the show's over, I'm gonna get the name right.
Letterman
is going in this year. He's inducted to the International Boxing Hall of Fame. I go up all the time, every year almost, and
that's right.
And so it seems to me like he's paving the way. He's opening up the door. You got to be next. You know what I mean? Is the way I'm thinking.
Well, I wish you could do the scoring and the judging.
Yeah, for the Hall of Fame,
for the Hall of Fame,
inductees,
yeah.
right? How many lady judges are there?
I think New York has 2. New Jersey has about 3 or 4, and Pennsy has the most, I think, 2 or 3. It's not a lot of them, but they're coming in now.
What do you think about ladies in the sport?
They're as good as anybody else. If they learn the game, they're as good as anybody else.
Put the gloves on.
The boxing, put the gloves on them if they want to fight.
They want to box.
Jackie Lyles Frazier was one of the hardest punching lady boxers that I know. And we got in a bus, my wife and I, we carried 40 people up there to see her fight Ali. The night she fought Ali, and that was some fight. And you can go on YouTube and still see that fight, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, that's.
And I look at it quite often.
The beautiful thing about the technology and the computers is all of those old fights up there, and I bet you look good. You'll see you sitting at ringside.
You could always see me at ringside. A lot of them.
On a bunch of them.
A whole lot of them.
So
yeah.
do you give speeches out there? You do you go out and speak to the kids?
Yeah, I do seminars. I do training. One thing about training and seminars is, see, boxing ain't like it used to be. Years ago, boxing was a sport. Now boxing is big business. And they say things like, when we give seminars, if you see a trainer, you can't talk to him. If you see a boxer, don't talk to him. If you see a writer, don't talk to him. That's what we have to say in seminars to the different officials now. But back in the day, we all grew up together. I mean, Benny Briscoe would collect my trash on Tuesday, and then I would do his fight on Saturday. And I had to talk to him. But nowadays it's different. You can't talk to fighters, you can't talk to trainers, you can't talk to writers, sports writers and things like that. It's a business now, it's not a sport anymore.
Interesting. So if somebody wanted to get in contact with you, an organization out there wants you to come and speak to them, how do they reach you?
Easy. If you call Mr. James Gibbs, he can always find me.
Always find him.
Always find me.
Always.
And I want to say to the youth too, why I got this opportunity, that boxing is a beautiful sport, but everybody can't be the boxer. Everybody can't be the basketball player. Everybody can't be the football player. Everybody can't be the baseball player. But there are thousands of jobs involved behind the scene that we, as people of color, don't participate in. And we need to train these kids that they can participate in other things besides being that fighter. What they do on TV now, at the beginning of a boxing or beginning of a football game, a big football game, they parade and show you, introduce maybe 12 black folk, and they're the stars. But behind the scenes of that, after that, all those other jobs back there, we don't get involved in. But the kids look at that and say, oh wow, I want to be him. Kids, listen to me. Besides selling hot dogs and collecting tickets, there are 1,000 jobs behind that scene. And I watched the Raiders game last Sunday, Christmas Eve, I watched the Raiders game. And I think TV made a big mistake, because what they did was they put all these people in the stands that had something to do with the production of that show. And it was maybe 300 people. And they showed it. We'd like to say Merry Christmas to everybody that helped get this telecast on. And if you counted 10 people of color in that 300, there's so many jobs, young folk, that you can get involved in. I mean, from the ticket taker to all the way up to the doctor. You can't start a fight if there's not a doctor at ringside. People don't know that. If there's no doctor at ringside, the Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather fight could not have taken place if they don't have 3 doctors at ringside.
I agree with you 100%.
These kids got to know that.
John Stuard, they could be a boxing judge out there. They can be a boxing court commentator out there. They can be a talk show host.
They could be a talk show host.
Get out there and do something, find your place and get her done, get the training and whatever it is, find a mentor. will be my biggest advice. Find somebody doing what it is you're trying to do and talk to them. Go up and ask them, hey, Mr. Stuard, could you help me guide me into being a referee? I want to be a referee just like you when I grow up. You get that?
Absolutely, absolutely.
know?
That's why we have people like James Gibbs. See, everybody, because you don't have a father in the home, doesn't mean that you can't get somebody that can mentor you.
That's
Absolutely.
I had an uncle, and my uncle took me hunting and fishing. But there's somebody out there that you can say, well, how do I be a fight doctor? And that's high as you can get, the fight doctor. And there are many people that you can talk to nowadays. And Mr. Gibbs gave out his number. Call him up. Say, I want to get involved in the sport of
I wanna
boxing,
get
but I can't
involved.
box.
Yeah.
And I bet you he can find a place for you in
Oh,
that
I will
sport.
find a place
Nicole
for you.
Ross, what do you think about women in boxing?
I love the idea of women in boxing. There are a lot of Philadelphia female boxers that have been making large strides in the industry. Can't recall their names right now. I just see their faces. There's about 5, and they're
Queen.
Queen, and then
And-
there's Kimberly.
Kimberly.
Kimberly Stowe
Yeah.
is excellent. Kimberly Stowe, she has 2 degrees, I believe,
Smart.
in business and law.
Right.
And she is a phenomenal boxer. She is, on the way to the Olympics, and she's has the same energy and spirit that the male boxers have, if not more. And she's a leader in her community. She works with a lot of nonprofit organizations, and she's always helping the youth. Women are natural born leaders and nurturing. So women in boxing, they do a lot to show women to stand up for themselves, because it goes right together.
Yes, it
so
does.
there's so many more. I'm like, there's a lot more that are.
It's a lot more.
And especially
Yeah.
Philadelphia, they're doing
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
doing
yeah.
great things, and they're involved in their community. They're bringing students and young people to the gym. They're getting them involved, and it's discipline in boxing that makes a big deal. You can beat someone up, but you don't. When you see that fighters don't beat up people, you never really hear of a person that's a boxer beating up on someone because they have discipline.
The discipline,
Right. They're
commitment.
disciplined enough to put the gloves on and get in the ring and get paid at the same time.
Right.
You're absolutely right. I'm gonna feed off what Mr. Stuart was saying about the different jobs out there that people can get into. There's lady trainers. There's lady doctors out there, cut personality in the corner. I know a lot of them ladies out there, man. You don't want to mess with them. I know I ain't getting in the ring with none of them. Maybe Gibbs might get in the ring.
Danny Davis. Danny Davis is one of the best hand wrap guys in the business. Cut man, conditioner. Danny Davis. He fought a little bit, but he polished all of that over into his art. This is an art of what he does when he wraps those hands, because you got to protect them. Danny Davis, want to give him a shout out at Joe Hand's gym.
That's right.
I know that's right. Joe Hand Jim and Gibbs, you got so much going on, man. You're representing so many people. I know you're representing the judge here. You're representing Amir Mansur. Who other people are you?
Jerome the Conqueror Conquest. I am his advisor, up and comer. Just had a bad situation in Philadelphia. First round, a guy picked him up and dumped him on his head. He had to get to the hospital out on the stretcher. Also, I got the 8th wonder of the world, Donnie Palmer, 7-footer, out in Boston, Massachusetts. It just goes on and on.
Well, I'm going to get you to represent me, man. You know what I mean? You got all these
I
big names
already
up there. You
represent
take little
you,
guys
but
like me,
you
man.
family.
Tell us about your organization. What you got coming up?
Well, actually, I've just got a new appointment with the World Boxing Federation. Foundation. And I wanted to give a shout out. You want to go to www.worldboxingfoundation.com to learn more about what we're doing as far as the boxing sanctioning body.
All right, we do run your commercial on our show periodically, and we're doing it certainly today. It'll be coming across the screen with your name and contact information on it. I want to thank you guys for coming on the show and joining us. There's a lovely discussion about boxing in the world with ladies and the men. We had the champion on earlier, and you guys are champions.
One of the greatest judges of all time. John,
I got to give it up.
You got to give it up.
I know he's going into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. That's why I said it about 5 times. You're going to come on there. Have you ever been to the International Boxing Hall of Fame up in Kansas?
No, I haven't. I see it all the time, though, because a friend of mine, Larry Hazard, was inducted.
Yes, he was.
Joe Cortez was inducted. All those guys I had worked with at one time or another.
And you got Harold Letterman.
Harold Letterman.
Got it right. He got it
right. I'm looking forward to seeing both of you guys and the young lady up there this year, June.
Okay.
I think it's the first week in June.
Nicole, trust me, she's everywhere. She's worse than Simon Carr. She's everywhere when they ain't never there. Okay?
Cool,
I mean, she's everywhere.
That's good, Vic.
All right, all right. Hey, listen, guys, thanks for giving me a great show. Gibbs, it's always a pleasure speaking with you, buddy. You on all the time. You come on the radio.
You know,
you always bring a great guest with you.
That's what I do, man.
Nicole Ross, I'm looking forward to seeing you out there again. I see you everywhere. Usually you have your camera, which you gave me a break today.
Yes, I do.
All right. And John Stuard, I know what's going to happen. I'm looking forward to seeing you up at the Hall of Fame supporting your friend, Mr. Letterman.
Harold Letterman, right.
Yes, that's right, that's right.
Okay.
I want to thank you guys again for joining us on the Urban Conference of Newell Jackson. Looking forward to seeing you again next week, each and every Friday, 4 to 5. Thank you very much.